Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 246. I almost pulled a Holtzman right there, like tripped over the words DCP. I've only done this, a couple hundred times. That's all.
Yeah, it's still new. It's still fresh.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it.
Getting used to the rhythms of running a podcast for years. How's it going, guys? Good day?
I mean, not bad.
G'day, mate.
G'day.
You're like, well, it's the 1st of July.
Can you believe it's the 4th of July? Like, dude.
Yeah, and
marijuana is legal like as of today in Connecticut, so that's good.
Congratulations, Briar. You said
thank you. I am extremely high.
Yeah, you've been just constantly smoking throughout the day to celebrate your just marijuana independence.
Clock goes down. It's like, oh, here goes almost legal. He's been there ever since.
It's just, it's 15 minutes. I got to rip a bong real quick.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a binger every 10 minutes during the show until I pass out.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Like, are there like stores that open at midnight as soon as it like becomes legal? Because there must be.
No, the stores won't open till next year.
So they couldn't even like start.
They're just lying in wait this whole time.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, they couldn't like act intentionally of making a marijuana store until the law has passed. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I think this is the secret.
Legally,
that's right. I think this is the secret, like, plan for all the vape shops in Connecticut. Is they've just been biding their time, and they're just gonna flood the market as soon as it's legal to open a shop.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of people want to do that in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think? Yeah.
Vape shops makes perfect sense.
It's a pretty big industry in California. Of course, there's a lot of people in California. 40 million. Too many.
You could just say America, like.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like specific states that are like, oh no, absolutely not. But.
Yeah, that's a good question. If anybody knows listening to the show, definitely tweet one of us a state that definitely doesn't want marijuana in there.
Yeah.
So we can be more educated.
So we know not to visit.
Yeah. Stay away zones. This way Myelin knows. Yeah, this way Myelin knows when he visits the states which places to stay away from, right?
I'd be interested to see the ratio. I might never come back. I'd be interested to see the ratio of a state that doesn't want pot and how much they want COVID. And I bet or how much they want COVID vaccines. And I bet it's like an inverse relationship.
Donors
the more you
love
want pot,
vaccines.
the more you want vaccine.
It's true.
And vice versa.
You're not wrong.
Oh man, guys, I would love to talk about marijuana all day. However, there's a big twab. A lot of stuff happened this week.
Not only a big twab, but a massive story.
Yeah,
week too. Yeah,
a big week. There's stuff. Where do we start? Where do we dig in?
Well,
I say we talk about the story.
Let's do it.
Quria.
Yeah.
Is that how you say Quria? I've been debating for like.
I believe so.
Okay.
That's how they say it in game anyway.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Quria.
It's a bit like Korea, but with more of an accent. Quria.
Right. Yeah.
Quria.
She's been a K-pop idol this whole time.
Yeah, she's actually K-pop idol. So here comes the law quiz, kids. What do you know? What do you know? DCP law quiz.
Quria.
What do you know about Quria?
Quaria's against marijuana.
I know less than you, maybe more than them.
I think definitely.
Quria is like a Vex mind who's been taken over by a certain witch cream solution.
She is Oryx's pet.
Was. Yeah,
dead.
So
now she's an independent girl boss.
We eradicated Quria. Expunged.
The original like appearance of her was in the Books of Sorrow, right? Where Crota cut a wound in space and accidentally let all the Vex into Oryx's throne world.
Damn
and
it,
one of the minds that came through was
freaking Crota. Was Crota playing with his sword, and that's how he accidentally cut the wall?
Yeah, basically, Daddy Oryx was like, "Go hang out with your sisters because they're hella smart," which was the Death Singers. And he's like, "Oh, I can do this stuff. It's easy peasy," and was tricked by Savathun to cut a wound in space in the wrong place, and then all the Vex poured through.
Oh wow!
And that's where we got the first image of Quria Blade transform in the anthologies, or in the book one, and then Oryx came home like a mad dad, and someone's had a party. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Did you cut a hole in the space time?
Did you have an open event Facebook party and all the Vex showed up? So Daddy Oryx got mad and took as in taken them, made them taken, including Quria, and then eventually gifted that to Savathun. And then Savathun's had Quria since. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff in between that came out with Forsaken and Truth to Power and Curse in the Dreaming City and all that kind of stuff, which Quria sort of links into, which I think is probably what most people are sort of, the question they're asking now is like, what does this mean? Like, now that Quoria's been defeated in game. Yeah. Does what happens with the Dreaming City? Does it impact that, or what happens to the Taken? Because Quria is meant to like. Originally, we sort of got told that they were using Quria as part of like controlling the Taken, or that's how. So was Quria the conduit? Leveraged her.
Was Quria the conduit to controlling the Taken? So like it was the ability to have so much widespread ability with the Taken.
I would have to find the exact card, but it basically said that Quria, when she battled Oryx, made a whole bunch of simulations of Oryx. And she, to some extent, understood that the process of taking. And Savathun, it's sort of in a vague way, says that Savathun leveraged that knowledge to sort of claim the throne. And that's, as far as we know, like her role in it. So I would say you could probably say that she was important for Savathun having some control over the Taken.
Interesting.
Because she had that. Do you think this opens the door to potentially, like, this is like step one in lifting the curse of the Dreaming City as like a future plot point potentially?
Yeah. So that's sort of, I did this big dive yesterday, and I was like, oh, because I was seeing a lot of people talk about Quria and what it means, and a lot of people thought it was too easy, and I think it's obviously a lot more to come this season. I think there's another plot twist on its way, and
I think it was a simulation.
Does it? Well, it's all a simulation. Yeah, no.
Quria was simulating us.
It was a simulation, but
well, we killed ourselves.
Yeah. Well, do you think Quria is dead? Like, I too agree that there is some sort of big twist thing coming. It's not over. But do you think Quria is dead, or Quria faked her death and will be back somehow to do more things?
In general, I think she is dead. I think if you look at like the I guess there's always two things, right? Like there's a lore thing, like, oh, this could happen. And there's also like, you got to remember it's a video game under certain constraints, and it's a season. And so I think that boss battle was pretty on par with what we would see from that. And it was also week 8. So I don't think it's meant to be the conclusion. I think if that was the like conclusion of the season, it might mean something a bit different. But I do think Savathun has used Quria and has discarded her like a pawn. Like, I've used Quria. She used it to make the Endless Night. She created all this, dissonance in the city and, infighting and leverage that. And it maybe was a distraction from something else. I think maybe that's where we're working our way towards that. This was a red herring. This was something for us to go chase while the queen was moving on the chessboard. This was like, had all of our attention, and she was doing something off to the side. So in general, I think Quoria's probably dead. And I think probably Savathun has used her as much as she needs to.
Like
Savathun's she's about to start a civil war. So like, that's kind of I assume was sort of the end point of this whole thing in the first place, is to turn everyone against each other, which has definitely happened. So
yeah, do you think the perspective is that Savathun expected this result and was like, all right, everything's moving into place how I wanted it to? Like, Savathun knew Quria was going to be disposed of by the Guardian, but by that time, civil war is about to break out.
Yeah, I think this is Savathun's way of attacking the city, and it doesn't seem I would put it on the same vein as, if you're going to attack a city with forces, you test the limits of the city. And I feel like this was just like a little nudge to see what would happen if we did this. It was like the first wave of Savathun's assault was to bring an endless night, create civil war, add the Fallen in there to make people even more fearful. And that she likely would expect that we would overcome Quria. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, we've killed a lot of things, so
we killed orcs.
Yeah. I feel like that's somewhat expected.
Yeah. And then I also looked at, the Curse in the Dreaming City, because this stuff is like, I don't know if you've gone back and read Forsaken, because Forsaken was such a huge lore drop, and we had the Truth to Power lore book. I don't know if you remember that was the one they hid from the API, and it still got leaked by accident, and then they sort of retracted, and some people were nice and some people weren't, didn't talk about it until it came out. That was when they started doing the weekly Truth to Power lore books. And it's just like, you don't know how truthful it is, because it starts off with someone saying, my name's Medusa. Oh no, I'm Eris Morn. I'm Medusa. Actually, I'm Quria Blade Transform. Actually, I'm Dal Inkaru. And you don't know who's actually like narrating the thing. But we actually have a bunch of information from that that talked about the mechanics of the Curse in the Dreaming City, which is like a complete head spin on sort of how that happened, because it links to Riven, right? Because the curse, you kill Riven, you take the heart, you carry it to the loot room, and then that activates the curse. And then Riven's like, I can't wait to show you what she wished for, or whatever, bargained for. And you're assuming that this has been a sort of chain reaction of bargains with Ahamkara that sparked off Savathun's wish of some sort, which was to create this taken invasion on the Awoken homeland, the Awoken city, the Dreaming City. And then Quoria's chucked in to make the time loop. So Quria said to do the 3-week time loop. And
interesting.
Like, huh?
So we got to wait till week 4 after we just killed her to see what happens in the Dreaming City, because surely that will be the next stage of the story. That would be cool. But
continuity-wise, that would make complete sense if the dreaming the cycle, the 3-week loop, stops. I mean, that would be like super pog. Well done, Bungie. Like, that's a pretty decent level of detail. Yeah. Whether that will happen or not, I don't know. But this season's been pretty good.
But I mean, I've had the theory the whole time that, again, I have not read any leaks or anything. My theory has just been that I'm hoping that next season is kind of Dreaming City focused, and I could see lifting the Curse of the Dreaming City being a pretty huge component of that leading up to the Witch Queen, because that's like Savathun's kind of greatest creation. So I think it would be cool if the stuff we've done this season did have an effect on that, and killing Quria was part of that. Do we know like exactly how to lift the curse at this point? Like, I know killing Savathun would help, but like, are there like instructions or something?
There, I'm pretty sure it relates to Riven. Like, that's how it started. There's actually a really, really interesting. Most people don't hear it, because when you finish Last Wish, you're like, oh, thank God. Everyone's like screaming and like yelling and all this kind of stuff. But Riven actually says like a really, really important line that you just don't hear unless you've got everyone muted in Discord. Oh, now I'm not going to be able to find it. She basically says, and one wish grants another. I can't wait to show you what she wished for, or something like that.
So the goal 15th wish, or
well, that's when the curse starts. So you sort of thinking that Savathun's wish has something to do with the curse, and we don't really know how to undo that. And then Quria is just looping it as well. So
well, thematically, it seems like Quoria's demise would have to lead to these conclusions or world changes, especially with like Witch Queen's going to be a big change to the universe, obviously bringing in Savathun. So it seems like some of these things have to get adjusted, and also it would make sense for them to start switching up the Dreaming City at that point, because that's what, 2 years or 3 years post release for.
It'd be I think it's 2 years, right? Yeah.
Is it 2 years for
No, 3 years.
Wow.
3 years?
It will be 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so that seems like it would be
Beyond Light, Shadowkeep. Well, my other theory that I have less faith in is if we break the curse, like this could be a story way to sunset the Dreaming City in terms of like we broke the curse. There's no more enemies in the Dreaming City, and
no reason to be
like
yeah,
it's not like the pyramids taking over. The pushback to that is like it would be weird to do that without ever making Forsaken content free. Because I think they said in the past like they wanted to make stuff free before they put it in the vault. So I kind of thought they would have made Forsaken free already at this point because we are approaching 3 years. But I don't know. I think that could be a story reason to do it. But fundamentally, I think it's probably not on the chopping block. My number one pick for that is probably still the EDZ, but we'll see.
Some of the stuff is a bit like, oh, I can see how, you know, you would want to get rid of the enemies in Taken City, but then it's also like, do we want to do we want to get rid of the dungeons? Like, I think we should get, still have double income room for people to play, you know. So it's like, it would make sense if we got rid of the Taken, and then it's like, I'm sure there's conversation about, well, we don't want to get rid of all.
They did make a comment about how they didn't like how people would play like Forsaken and have like evil Aldrin existing in the same time frame as like good Aldrin or good Crow, things like that. Another thing is like if you cut Forsaken content, that is the only place the Scorn exists, I think, in the game outside of like very select in like Gambit. Like I can't even think of anywhere else. And Presage is technically a part of the Tangled Shore node, so like you would also theoretically be deleting an entire race, which
it would be Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City.
Yeah, because it would be both at the same time. So that would be a little weird.
I don't know. It seems like they would evolve that place, especially if they're gonna follow the lore and what Myelin's saying about this being broken and the Quria being gone. Like maybe the endless loop is gonna die. I mean, it seems like that would be a logical conclusion to start adjusting that area as opposed to sunsetting it completely. Like maybe they add Chicago and change things up in the Dreaming City. And that's like a big expansion.
I would love that. I would love for them to do more changes to existing areas rather than only like it's binary. Like you add one thing and delete one thing. Like they've done a little bit of that. Like they did that with Season of the Chosen, where like you had the crashed the barge ship, and then they added that whole new area to it with the tank. Like so they do that a little bit, but I would definitely like to see more of that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I see comments in chat about moving stuff to the Legends tab, which is like, it's sort of, I imagine it'll be a big discussion, like you said before, like, do you keep Aldrin in the Dreaming City and you have this campaign and then he's elsewhere, or do you just like, okay, we're going to shift stuff to a tab and you want to replay old content like a campaign and dungeons that's over there, and then everything just exists in this one moment in time. I guess they're not doing that though, because we have things like Devil's Lair, which is, a strike, which is a moment in time, which is not current.
I don't think that's what the Legends tab is for. Like, I don't see them doing that. Like, if they want, they're not going to move stuff there just for like non-confusing story reasons. Like, I think that is mostly for like if they're going to take something out, they're taking it out to like save room and like for like technical reasons, not just like shifting where it is. So like. I think that's the place where it's like, okay, you want King's Fall back? Like, that's where King's Fall's going, but we're not going to bring the whole Dreadnought back, just like they didn't bring all of Venus back. Or like, oh, you want, Prison of Elders? Like, in the Legends tab. I would be surprised if they put anything from D2 in the Legends tab, but...
True.
Yeah, I also think it's not a hard and fast rule that, like, they have a set rotation that's going to happen on a clock with everything. I think it's totally possible that they could reconfigure and adjust things as needed for how they want to tell some stories. So, thinking about what has gone and what could go next maybe isn't necessarily how they're looking at it.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's going to keep getting written into the story like every time. Cause like we've had some of that, like yes and no, like they wrote all the Sunset stuff into the story technically. Yeah. And then when they brought stuff back, like some of that was like New Light stuff, like they had a new purpose for the Cosmodrome, but then later it's just like these strikes are back, Bog's back, whatever. So it's kind of a mix.
True.
It's kind of
there you go.
What was that?
Quria Blade Transform. Any questions, class?
Man, it's super fascinating.
So she's like a puppy. That's what I got from that.
So you thought that was like an appropriate level of...
So she was a puppy after all.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like you thought that was like an appropriate level of a boss fight for how kind of powerful Quria is, I guess, you think?
I think without seeing the ending of the season, I'm happy with that level.
Okay.
I think, you know, I am hoping for a big plot twist and a big finale. And I think if that's the case, then that was fine. Mm-hmm. I think if it doesn't hit a home run and it just sort of fizzles out at the end of the season, I think people will probably be a bit upset with Quoria's fight. Because she's been a big part of the lore since Book of Sorrows. So it's taken king. So...
Yeah, I think the fight itself was interesting, and it was cool to see how all those elements came through. Like they've been teaching us how the expunge mechanics work over the past 8 weeks, and then all of them were basically thrown together in that final expunge mission to kill Quria.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I did like that aspect. It was almost like taking the premise of a raid and breaking it up into multiple sections throughout the weeks, and then giving you one final version of it. The difficulty was obviously very low. Well, I think anyways. I think it was low.
It wasn't even a darkness zone.
Yeah, there was no darkness, exactly. So it's like this is a freebie for people to experience the story in that sense, or to experience what's happening with the season. But I do feel like it kind of got the Panoptes treatment, where it's like this supposed to be this big, boss thing, and then it just kind of gets shoved over by us without ever being able to die. So I hear you that there could be a big crescendo that's just something else, but at the same time, I could see them just making this like a story bullet point for us to experience, and maybe there's maybe like a Quria reborn of the blade of something of Savathun happens in like a future strike or raid or something. Raid boss.
I think it's interesting because I've seen some people say that in terms of how big she is in the story, how big of a character she is, her kind of awesome moment is this mega buildup to finding her. You're kind of like tracking her through all these Vex networks and learning to splice and all the story associated with that. So it's more so like the buildup and the chase of getting to her is like her battle almost.
Yeah.
And then that makes the final battle go, okay, well, if you put all this buildup and you put with the final fight, it's kind of feels fitting. So I thought that was interesting listening to that perspective.
I also think that we have to keep in mind that I think before this season, I would venture a guess that 95% of players had never heard of Quria. Because you had to get deep into some very specific lore books. Like we just talked about them, but that was not in-game stuff. And like you might have some kind of loose knowledge of the Dreaming City curse and stuff, but in terms of like Quoria's name being spoken out loud and like discussed as an active villain, I think this is the first time that's ever happened actually in game. So I think most people would be like, oh, cool boss, like, and maybe us in our more specific communities are a little more, heated about how she was treated or whatever. But I don't know. I think in the grand scheme, it's probably fine, especially since it does seem like kind of a misleading finale that is building to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there was only one other reference to Quria before this season, which was Toland. When you go through into the Ascendant Planes, you got to find Tolands, and the little orbs flying around, and he gives you a quote. There's one quote that like says something like "Quria is the key," something like that. And only time that you see it hear it in game, and then it was if you never heard that or paid attention, you wouldn't know unless you had gone through and read some of the previous books. And Truth to Power was a really tricky book. A lot of people, even me, someone who looks at all the lore all the time, I put that at the back burner because it's like, this is similar to when Callus had his scribes write his own history. It's like, how truthful is any of this? And is it going to go anywhere? And obviously it did.
Interesting. It sounds like, taking out Quria would fix the Dreaming City thing. So I really am curious now. Yeah, if they're going to make that transition for next season. In fact, do you think it would be next season? Would that be the logical thing, or do you think they're going to fill us with something else this next season that's going to be like, let's take care of some housekeeping before we get to the Witch Queen?
Yeah, I mean, it it would be kind of weird to like have all this build up to the Witch Queen, and then I mean everyone is assuming that Savathun will be the boss of the raid of the Witch Queen.
Yeah.
I mean maybe that is a bad assumption because Savathun is not like some big warrior type person. Like maybe the boss is Zebu Arath and Savathun is hanging around doing things or whatever. But I think it would be kind of weird. So like assuming we defeat them, to then like be like, oh, let's go back to the Dreaming Certainty Curse later. Like that seems like something you would want to resolve before you kind of took the fight to Savathun herself and her lair in Old Chicago, wherever it's going to be. So I don't know. That's why I just keep coming back to this idea of the Dreaming City. I'm also just curious about the next season in general because it is going to be really long, probably. Yeah. So I'm wondering like how that is going to be formatted with kind of the story and how that unfolds, and actually, I mean, how long it's going to be. So. We'll see. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to being a warlock whole season.
No, God, awesome. It's going to be the longest.
The wrong season for that, my friend.
Yeah.
The right season. You look at it a different way.
It's interesting that Solstice is being tied into the story this year as well, because it's normally kind of just like it's Solstice. It's a thing you just do, but now it's like, oh, Quria has been taken down and the Endless Night is gone. Look at us. Let's have a party.
Do you think the tower?
I hope Saint is wearing a suit.
In the trailer, they show the tower and it was fine.
That's right, yeah.
So I assume it'll happen at a reset. I did kind of want to see like Eva Levante like hanging wreaths on the blights and stuff, but I guess we're not going to get that.
Blight balls.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Well, that's a pretty mighty lore drop that's happened.
Yeah.
Overall,
Lakshmi was an asshole again this week. It was great.
Oh mate, she started off okay. I was like, oh great, the Endless Night's finished. Like she's, the
super political, right?
Has lifted, and she was like almost apologizing, and then it's just like the final sentence. She's like, and then when the Fallen leave, I'm like, oh yeah, change. I'll give you an uppercut.
And it's like, oh, I'm so forgiving. I'm just you should be forgiving like I am. I'm so nice. It's like, stop it. She's like such a well-written gaslighting character. It's all she does. It's written really well.
Maybe we're gonna go to war with Future Warcold next season.
And Hideo.
Civil War.
Yeah.
See, I would love that. I don't know how that would play out. Yeah. I know that would be cool. Like you'd almost have to do it through Crucible somehow, because like they're not going to make like an AI race of human guardian enemies to fight, because they're not going to do that for like a season. But right. I would love there to be like an actual Civil War storyline. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, it would be.
It would be cool.
I don't know if we'll get that, but
do you think Lakshmi has like Vex connection technology that she could bring in an army of Vex somehow? I have no idea what I'm talking about, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. So like, this is not a spoiler because it is literally in the released images for this season. But like one of the images to promote Season of the Splicer is Vex in the Batsa district. Oh. And like, also they have like put the Fallen in a boss arena that is 90% empty space, which should look a little suspicious from the outset. So
true.
I mean, it's in the seasonal promotional material. So like, I assume, I don't know who's sending them there or how they get there or whatever, but that is what I assume is going to be some parts of what is to come whenever that happens. If it's during Solstice or if it's in this big finale event or something, but it's not a spoiler. Chat's telling you.
Spoiling. How could you? How could Tassi on Tassi?
We had Paul the journalist.
Screen share this.
Paul that doesn't actually play video games, the journalist, and now it's Paul the spoiler. It's a story arc.
Yeah.
Well, so when you put it in terms of that and think about what's going to happen with Lakshmi, because clearly stuff's been a brewing, then it does seem like Quria is a giant ruse for stuff about to go down in the tower. The last city.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have that final thing happening, right? That's on the roadmap. So it's definitely we've got some stuff to happen before the end of the season.
True. What is the final thing?
The epilogue is 2 weeks before the end of the season. So it's not even like the last day of the season. So it's like, that says to me it's like something you can maybe experience for 2 weeks, and so it's got a little bit of a lead off. I thought something might happen. I thought something might happen during Solstice to like interrupt it, like crash the party, like literally, which
that
would be cool.
Really cool.
I'm not sure. I'm very skeptical of the whole epilogue thing after seeing the Guardian Games closing ceremony on the roadmap last season,
That's
which
true.
was
It wasn't a
talking to
ceremony.
Zavala and hitting X, and that was the end.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on Quria in this week's lore drop?
No, I think probably the last thing I would say about it is, and why I'm not disappointed, if there was a big lead up, like you got told every week Corey is coming, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like after whenever they announced it, it was sort of this big lead up to it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been different if it was a massive surprise. Like if there was no talk of Corey Blade transform, maybe that little like Easter egg in the first mission, and then boom, like you're fighting the boss. That one might have been a bit different, but that's still why I think we've got a twist to come, because we got so well prepared to seeing Quria as it leads up to, which just makes me think it was a diversion of something.
Totally. And the conflict at home is still very prevalent still.
Yeah.
With the Elixni. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not Savathun. Stop telling me I'm Savathun.
Yeah.
That's what Savathun would say, Paul.
Yeah. No winning.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we have a really juicy twab as well this week.
We do.
We should probably start talking about it.
Do you want to mention Solstice before we get into the Sandbox technical stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Solstice is happening.
Solstice is happening.
The 6th,
on
right?
Did you like
Yeah.
Solstice last year? Because
the year before.
Yeah, the
EAZ is
EAZ.
back. It's back. You change your subclass every day, match the element, get the thing. There's a new shotgun that you can get, so that's cool.
Shotgun looks dope.
It does look dope. And the armor looks really good too. I like it. The armor's looking nice, the glowy armor. And then of course there's like some ghost shells, which are pretty great. They're pretty great. There's like a clamshell ghost. There's a ghost
Summer
with like
vibes.
a blow up shark on it. And then I'm gonna say I'm calling this ghost with the hat Lady D. That is a little Lady D ghost, right?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
Nice.
you might be right.
It's close enough. It's close enough. So there's it's the same thing as it has been for the last few years. It's glowy armor, cool cosmetics. You get to go to the EAZ. There you go.
This is the 3rd year with the EAZ, right?
Believe so. Yeah.
3rd time we're
Yeah,
visiting.
it
You
is.
still have
We
to
had
finish your armor with money
the
in
heroic missions in
at
year
the
one.
Eververse store too.
More Eververse store stuff, yeah. Yeah. Wouldn't that be weird if they were like, and guess what? No new Eververse items for this thing. I'd be like, huh?
It doesn't.
What?
It's a little bothersome to me that you got to do all the work to get the gear like leveled up, but the final step is to go and pay money to like.
Isn't it
No,
like
no,
I think
they're
you can
two
get a
different
glow
things.
as the final step, but then if you want the elemental glows, you gotta
Yeah.
pay for that.
Last
pretty
year it
sure.
was you played the game and that's how you got the white glow. But you could just go to the Eververse and get the ornaments for the elemental glow.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I could do a whole segment on like I think events in general kind of need a rework because it seems like every time events come around now, so little changes and it just feels like you're kind of doing the same thing over again. But I don't know. We got a big enough twab where that's probably a topic for another day. But
Yeah. I feel you on that. It's like the Iron Banner discussion. Iron Banner again.
Yep.
It's the same
We
Iron
just
Banner. It's like-
we need like at least we need to start getting one of these things updated, every so often. It's like, oh, now Solstice has a different thing to it, and oh, now Iron Banner is different. Like, I don't expect them to all be updated at once, but if we could start updating
we
them
have to
slowly.
get Festival updated because they sunset the Infinite Forest. So
Yeah.
there was
They're
nothing
gonna be
left
like,
now.
oh, the Vex timeline has opened a portal and it's the forest.
Put it in the
Woo!
Legends tab. It's like just the Infinite Forest. Go into the
Yeah.
Legends tab.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Even if they use the European, what is it called? The
European
European
aerial zone?
aerial zone. Thank you. Like to do something else besides the same exact activity. If they just modified the activity so it felt
Yeah.
a little different year to year, like use the same assets but change the way you do it.
Even if you put like different boss fights in there, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
the final
I'm
boss
wondering
fight.
if they're going to change even any bosses for this. I'm curious as to if they'll have any new ones or not. But
Yeah.
It is cool. It's a cool place and
It is.
it's a fun activity.
Yeah.
because it is, it only comes around once a year. Like it does feel special when it comes, but then it stays around for a while, and it's long enough, and you have to run it enough to level up all your gear, especially if you're running 3 characters, that you feel pretty done with it by the time it leaves. So it's going to feel less special every time it comes back. And that's true with all of the seasonals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what else was in
honest,
the top?
I sort of nope out a lot of those activities because I just, I feel like a lot of times people are playing because they want to get to the end, so it's very externally motivated to get the loot. But I find I just go insane if I'm not enjoying an activity, then I just got to not play it. Otherwise, start not enjoying the game, and I don't want to do that. And I feel like those activities are mainly like, here's the cool loot. You got to go do the chores to get it. And, Desi community's pretty good at doing chores.
Boy, are they ever.
But if Fallout makes a video and says the shotgun is hot shit, it may motivate.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If the feeling of distaste or dissatisfaction starts creeping in with an event that I'm doing, then I usually nope out of it too.
Yeah.
Yep. Like PvP.
Well, next year GCX it'll be Tefty must become a PvP main.
I have to help people go flawless in trials every weekend.
Yeah, you have to keep doing trials until you go flawless.
My nightmare.
What would be the goal?
Every Friday, Hefty does carries for a whole season.
What would be the sum of money you would
have to be an insane amount of money for that?
So maybe you can get Baki to help you out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Destiny wild shenanigans.
No twab, anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, what else is in there?
What else? We haven't even gotten to the twab yet, Brian.
We've barely cracked the twab open.
Solstice, sort of.
We haven't even cracked it open.
That's right.
So first things first, we have Tuesday, July 6th. Not only is Solstice coming back, but Vaults of Glass is getting a bit of a mastering, you could say.
Yeah.
Master Vault of Glass is opening, so it's a different difficulty option for you to launch into the raid with. And there's no minimum requirement for your power, but the enemies are going to be 1350. So you might want to play some Iron Banner this week. Get leveled up.
You might want to eat your Wheaties in the morning.
Those 4 kinetic drops.
Eat your Wheaties, yes. Now, what you can earn from, first of all, they have a picture of a ship, which if you guys haven't been on the TWAB and seen the picture of the ship, it's pretty dang cool. The ship that you can get from it. It is pretty freaking great.
Crystal rockets.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So this will also be, the Master Vault of Glass will be the final triumphs for the Fatebreaker raid seal and title. So you can get that starting next week. And you're also going to be getting time lost weapons. And they say that these are comparable to adept weaponry from GMs and trials. But they offer an additional perk in columns 3 and 4. So that's cool.
What does that mean? I'm trying to figure out what that means. Because GM and trials weapons have the set alternate perk as of the change they made. So whatever those bad perks were, celerity and stuff. So is it an alternate perk? So 2 rolls per slot, or is it going to be
I think so.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
Yeah, it says it's offer an additional perk in columns 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So you know how we get now we do the corrupted expunge missions. You get 1 perk that you can choose.
Column 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean that's actually kind of great because that's 4 drops.
Yeah.
Essentially because of how did I do that math right? I think I did.
You could have yeah, you can have a God roll PvE and a God roll PvP gun in one gun.
Yeah.
And they take adept mods, and I'm assuming they do the thing that the master work that gives you the stats.
I would think so. Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
So that's pretty good. I'm confused about them only dropping challenges though, because wouldn't that just sort of motivate you to go up until the challenge point and then do that and then stop and go breeze through a normal run. Like I don't really understand that.
That's what it says here. It says complete Vault of Glass challenges in the massive difficulty of the activity and you will be rewarded. Each week will feature a specific time-lost weapon for you to hunt, rotating alongside the available challenge. So, yeah, it's going to be a specific challenge for a specific portion of the fight on master difficulty. And it's going to be the gun that you want that rotates as well.
Yeah, and if I'm understanding this correctly, if you go on normal and you do it by accident on normal, it takes up your chance of getting the adept weapon on
Yes,
master.
it does. Yeah, it says that in
Why
here.
would they have done that? That just
I'm like I know like loot like from the encounters, but I would be surprised if it killed your chance to get the time lost weapon.
I think that's what it's saying. I think it's saying it takes up.
There's a note there that says
I can just read it. Yeah, we can read the. So it says weekly reward lockouts are shared between both normal and master difficulties of Vault of Glass. That means encounters, challenges, and hidden chests will only award gear the first time you complete them in any activity. They must be completed at massive difficulty to earn them. So I guess if you could technically do a raid, but just not do the challenge on normal. And then you could do the challenge on master and get the time loss weapon.
Yeah, that's a very strange way to set that up, but
it is. It's super strange. It's like, why not just make master mode drop an additional drop for that? You know?
Yeah, which is how it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and then
treat it like
how many log weapons are there? Are there 7 or something? Like that's a long rotation if you're waiting for like a specific one. True, and it could be like a challenge that you hate or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, kind of weird. I don't know. It's strange that they did it that way, but
also, so it does also say that once you've earned one of the time lost weapons, you can also purchase additional rolls from the chest at the end of the raid on master difficulty. So you are going to have to complete it on master difficulty to farm those with your spoils. And they also do cost a little bit more than the normal version. But I thought that was pretty cool that you could, say you could technically just sit and farm the master nightfall. I'm sorry, raid. You could just farm it.
Yeah.
Because you could just keep getting spoils. You could even do normal and just farm the crap out of spoils and then go run a master and get another time
loss. Master gives more spoils or not. I also had someone ask if it gives a higher chance at Mythic class, which would be nice. But
that would also be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the spoils thing is nice. I'm a fan of that. That's cool.
Yeah. It also, the only other thing about it, I think, is the armor from Master Difficulty of Vault of Glass will focus on a specific stat, rotating weekly. So if you want a super high intellect stat, you have to wait for the week where the intellect stat is there. But I thought that was also kind of cool because we haven't had anything like that with armor before. So you could technically just do, if you got lucky with drops, you could do one master raid and get a full set of armor with like all intellect.
Yeah.
400 intellect.
Could be fun. Yeah, 400. I did it.
Enough for the whole team. Don't worry, I brought extra.
Yeah. It also says that they're going to be more aggressive. So the enemies are going to be more aggressive. They're going to be tougher. A few more champions will be appearing, and there will be more modifiers active. So it's not just the 1350 that's going to make it tough. Yeah. But it sounds like it's going to be fun. We haven't had something like this for a raid for a long time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to be GM level insane, though. Because, like, you can't, there's no contest. So you can get up. And GM's plus 25. So this is only, assuming you're 1335, that's plus 15 right there. And then if you just keep going up. This answers a question I asked, like, this past week about, like, why do we have power at all anymore? Because it doesn't matter for GMs. It doesn't matter for trials, really, for Iron Banner anymore. So it's like efficiently farming Master Nightfalls. But like this is the first thing where the power grinds actually will mean something. So that's a good answer to that question. I mean, people might have their own feelings about the state of the power grind, given that it's all bounties and challenges after a certain point. But there is a reason for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with this, you only have the high stat rolls. I guess one chance per character, per chest, wherever the armor drops, right? If you do master difficulty. Because I've always thought, like, I don't know why you get limited. Like, this would seem like a great thing to just farm over and over again. Like, it's going to be difficult. It's not like you're getting free stat rolls. And for someone who I've never really typically focused on it, like, I would love to be able to just farm this and go, because it's still a random chance. You're not going to get exactly what you wanted either. Like, why? I always feel like that's meant to be the end game, right? It's meant to have the perfect stats, but there's only so many limited ways you can do it.
Yeah.
They really love weekly limited lockouts on armor and stuff. Like, why do we have a limit of 3 focused, engrams?
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know. Like, it seems very arbitrary to me in the way that I don't really love.
Because there's some days where I'm like, I'm really into just playing Override all day. Like, I'm just into it. I'm having a good time. And it would be awesome if I could use that and just say, okay, I'm going to farm those stats. Stat umbrals all day. Because I don't feel like doing the same thing every day. Some days I want to do just one thing. Some days I want to do just another thing. That would be nice.
Isn't that how Destiny 1 worked? I mean, I remember we used to play strikes to level up, right? You jump into strikes like pre-raid. Like, once you'd done all your kind of like obvious activities, you just play strikes until like you just happen to get good gear. Or you could do it in Crucible too, but it was just a lot slower.
In vanilla, you had to raid to get to 30.
Not in vanilla, but like later in Destiny 1. Not in vanilla.
I mean,
vanilla,
I remember when people were doing that to farm like Nightfall weapons, or not Nightfall weapons, strike specific weapons, and just doing a million times over for like palindromes and stuff. But I don't know if I think there were limits on power. Like, maybe you could get like good gear, but that wasn't like a power grind. I think post.
I think it was. I think you could go into
power, really.
Yeah, you go into strikes. You weren't guaranteed like a bump in power, but every once in a while you'd get one. And once you were out of once you had exhausted kind of the obvious ways of getting power, the guaranteed ways of getting power, strikes or Crucible was the way to just like you just go there and hope, right?
They changed the power system like so many times I can't even remember
really
what phase that was. So yeah, you might be right. Like, that's perfectly possible.
I remember doing that specifically for Wrath of the Machine, so I don't know if it was ever before that too.
Are you guys ready to get into the sandbox?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go more cones? Yeah, I understand.
Wasn't it like just one cone? Yeah, there was only one cone in there, right? Yeah, for shotguns.
It's all cones. Okay, it's all cones. So they was talking a lot about how they don't normally do a big mid-season sandbox update, but they thought that it was important to do it now, which maybe is saying a lot about the current state of Crucible. So we're talking with Chris. Chris was, of course, on firing range. Chris Proctor, he's part of dealing with all the weapons. And they first talked about their intended special weapon roles in PvP, which I thought was interesting to just go through this before we go to the specifics. But so these are the roles that Bungie wants each special weapon to fill. So sniper rifles, engaging at long range with aiming skill when not already under fire. Shotguns, engaging at point blank usage using skill at movement or positioning to get close enough to get a 1 or 2 hit kill elimination. Fusion rifles, engaging at mid-range but with careful positioning and pre-charging around cover for success. Trace rifles, strong at close to mid-ranges at the cost of not being able to do a 1-hit elimination, making it possible to be outplayed by skillful primary users. And grenade launchers, useful for weakening an opponent, getting damage around corners with bounces, or getting a 1-hit elimination with a direct impact at the cost of projectile travel time and being in a bad place if you miss your shot. So I think that's interesting to keep in mind, because if there's ever a point where you're like, that snipers or fusions are not really hitting what you guys said you want, that could be a really good way to frame your feedback, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of nerfs coming, starting off with the big one, which is shotguns. So they have increased aggressive frame shotgun cone angle from 4.0 to 4.25 degrees.
So if I understand this correctly,
spread fires more spread out.
Yeah, the pellets are getting spread a bit more, so your like RNG accuracy is going to go down a bit.
Yeah.
I'm hearing more cones, and that can't be a bad thing, right?
The cone got bigger by 0.25 degrees. 0.25 degrees. So when you try and shoot someone at the distance that you're shooting them right now, the pellets will spread further than their body. So you should technically not get a one-shot kill.
You're going to have potentially more whiffs. Slightly more whiffs.
Plus the range nerf that you're about to read. So.
Yes. They've also reduced shotgun damage fall off minimum by 2 meters and increased shotgun damage fall off max by 2 meters.
So less mapping.
2 meters. Yes. I understand what a meter is.
Yes.
2 meters
is a lot, though.
Oh, it's not even using. It's not even using your freedom units. 2 meters. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the metric, baby.
This is why we don't know what it means, actually. But
I can't convert meters to feet. Yeah, that's significant. Honestly, like I think a lot of people who have gotten used to the extended range of their fell winners or whatever crap are going to be a little perturbed when they're seeing that it's not getting the one-hit kills.
The impression I got from this is that they want more 2-shot shotgun kills, and they don't want everything to always be one hit, which it almost always is for especially for aggressives. So that I think that's what they're going for here, because they're like, rapid fires are going to be better now because 2 hits are going to be more common, and who knows if that'll happen, but I think that's what their goal is.
Yeah.
Or you could be really, really close. You got to position, like I said before.
Yeah, really barrel stuff.
You got to use positioning
Halo
to get the one kill.
But slugs are not being affected, so maybe we'll have like an all chaperone.
Well, if you use a cheat suite, then you're good to go. No problem. Right?
Perfect.
Tafty Taft, offering solutions for your gaming needs.
Sweet, you can see his soul light up in his face. Cheat Sweet.
The Crucible experience.
I see what you did.
You have any recommendations, Taft?
I'll get back to you. I'll do a little investigation.
But hey, the good news is if it becomes a slug shotgun meta, they have to aim for the head, and also it doesn't have very good in-air accuracy at all. Especially Chaperone. Dear God, it's awful in the air. It does nothing.
Slug shotguns are hella cool.
They are cool.
When there is a shotgun meta, when shotguns are really good, the game can be somewhat frustrating because it can be hard to fight off a shotgun with anything but a shotgun. And for the most part, I assume this change will be a good thing. We'll have to wait and see if they could find a place where shotguns are a skill-based weapon as opposed to just run around as fast as you can and just jump around and shoot people. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be people who are mad about this for sure.
On the internet? In Destiny? No.
Yeah.
Why are you mistaken, man?
They were mad about the fucking toasters, man.
I'm still mad about the
Paul,
toasters.
how many articles did you write about Toastergate?
I did a video, and it was mostly just me shaking my head a lot. So that's all I could devote to it.
Wait, I think I missed this. What happened about the toasters?
Oh, no, Myelin doesn't know about the toasters.
Prepare to be royally infuriated.
Okay, everyone said Jotun looked like a toaster, so they're like, Bungie should make a Jotun toaster, and they made a Jotun toaster, and everyone was like, it doesn't look like Jotun, and you bought a bunch of them off Alibaba, and I want a better toaster. That's it. That's the whole thing.
And some people may or may not have threatened to quit the game over it. Unconfirmed. Just saying, unconfirmed. May or may not have.
Terrible if that happens.
There's someone at Bungie that goes, see, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things, community. This is why we can't do funny stuff for you.
Toaster is not nice enough. That's the problem, Myelin.
It's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's cheap and so expensive.
You guys are cheaping out on your toasters. That's what I got from this.
I was talking in chat to someone who has a $300 toaster that makes perfectly toasted toast.
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say.
Sounds about right.
I was gonna say
it doesn't
$85.
have a Jotun sticker on it.
I was gonna say the $85 sounds actually like pretty cheap for a toaster, like a decent.
Yeah, how much do toasters normally cost?
Like
people are like, oh, if you buy it in bulk from Alibaba, it's like $5 or something. It's like, wait, do you want to ship 20,000 toasters?
You're suddenly
Alibaba, so
in the
pay
distribution
$5
industry of a toaster. It's like, huh?
Do you know how many dollary dues it would cost me to get a toaster to Australia from Bungie? It would probably take 6 months. It would probably be a $300 toaster.
Build your own.
You know, toaster technology may have progressed a lot since you placed your order.
That's true.
It would be a relic of the past. Golden Age toaster, then it would be.
Yeah. There's also a lot of different levels of toasters out there.
There are different levels.
I'm sorry for starting this conversation.
They
No, it's great,
don't all
actually.
have the Destiny Tricon logo on them, do they? You can't express how big of a fan you are. So
yeah,
they don't toast your bread with the Bungie logo.
You gonna get an emblem from your Bed Bath & Beyond toaster? I don't think so.
No, that's true.
It is a good emblem.
You'll get 20% off with your Bed Bath & Beyond coupon, but you know.
Can you order the toaster and get the emblem and then cancel the order?
I think you can. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Hot tip.
Yeah.
I was just wondering for personal reasons.
It's like, okay, no more toasters.
My friend,
I regret this immediately.
my friend wants to know.
Okay.
Next, 120 hand
Aggressive
cannons.
hand cannons.
Aggressive 120 hand cannons. Reduced precision damage multiplier from 1.8 to 1.6, preventing a 10% damage bonus from allowing 2-tapping in PvP. So Rampage will not allow you to 2-tap with 120s. I believe Kill Clip still will. I don't know about Swashbuckler.
I think I read this somewhere. I think if it's like 4 or 5 stacks, it might, but I don't know.
Where does
That's
that
Fallout.
put? Yeah, where does this put this in terms of people who want to use a 120? Did it kill it, or does it matter?
You could still 2-head 1 body, right?
Right.
So it allows you to have a bit larger of margin of error when you're shooting with it. I think 120s are just the issue with them is that they used to feel really clunky and just not very nice to use. They weren't smooth, they weren't sticky. And now they just kind of feel really good. And I think even with not being able to 2-tap, the ability to go in and out of cover and just keep tapping someone is still pretty significant. They do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they do.
Seems like the team shot is where that's going to be the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And Kill Clip, you can still 2-tap with it.
Right.
How many even roll with Kill Clip? It's only a couple. Right?
I guess would you still be able to 2-tap with Charge with Light if you're running like high energy fire? I don't know how much of a percentage boost to your damage energy fire.
All I'm realizing is you invited the wrong guest on. You shouldn't have got me.
This is all firing range.
We're
stuff.
just taking notes for Fallout and submitting them.
People listening and watching, Firing Range did cancel their show this week to do it next week because of these Sandbox changes. Okay. So if you want to know the details and the nitty-gritty and the mathematicians,
the numbers,
the numbers.
Week, next Wednesday, you can listen to
if you want to be a real nerd next week.
Firing Range, also notably, the only podcast we know of where nobody has been called out by Bungie devs and had their accounts canceled.
True. I thought you were going to go with the cannibalism angle.
With that. Yeah.
For a second.
What's that?
No one has been
cannibalized?
Yeah.
The only podcast where cannibalism is illegal.
Nobody gets eaten.
Yet.
Yet.
Also to 120s, we have reduced aim assist minimum fall off distance by 1 to 2 meters, depending on the range stat. Your aim assist gets all whiffy sooner.
That whiffy.
Sooner whiffs. There you go. Reduced damage minimum fall off distance by 1 meter. This reduces their damage fall-off advantage over other hand cannons to 1 meter. As usual, this is 1 meter before the zoom scaler.
Naturally. I was about to say.
I was about to write a letter and have
where's the 180 buff? That's what I was looking for. So I think 140s will be good now, but 180s I don't know.
120s
are my favorite, but they're not good.
180s are fun. They have really good inner accuracy without needing a mod, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically 120s will have a 1 meter advantage over other hand cannons. That's what I'm going to take from that. I learned something. I learned that one thing, and that's what I'm going with.
Okay. That's all. This will change anything. Okay.
Okay, so now moving to perks, we have some changes coming to some perks. So with Drop Mag, it's no longer going to roll on new drops of weapons. We'll have its functionality change later. And there's a change coming next season that requires adjusting this and some perks with similar functionality.
All right.
More on that later.
Any guesses as to what it's going to do?
What does that mean? I assume they might be adding a new perk that like sort of does what Drop Mag did in a different way. I don't know. Yeah. That was very confusing.
I think here's what I'm guessing. They're going to go with the actual name where it's a faulty magazine where you'll be shooting and then suddenly the magazine drops out and goes down to 0 because it's an actual drop mag.
You go chasing
falls out of your gun. You're like,
I thought I had 18 bullets left in this, and just
be like a Borderlands joke weapon or something.
Yes. Imagine if Destiny added like joke perks into the game.
I would love
it. Great.
I wouldn't hate it. Yeah.
You'd be so mad though when you got one on the roll you've been looking for forever.
Yeah, for your
depends how
master
funny
drop.
It is.
Yeah.
If it's really funny, it'll be great. We also have Pulse Monitor. They're fixing an issue where the handling bonus was no longer applying. Great. Rewind Rounds. It fixed an issue where the perk would not trigger if the last shot in a magazine missed or if the player reloaded another weapon before firing the final shot. That's great. They're just making things work the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, fix that sandbox.
Good.
Love it. And then Reservoir Burst. We've seen the complaints that the detonation on kills doesn't feel that reliable or impactful. So this has been updated with the same consistency and speed as Dragonfly, which I thought was pretty cool because a loaded question was really fun. And Reservoir Burst on a fusion rifle now just doesn't feel as fun or explosion-y or I don't know. So
I'm glad Reservoir Burst now.
Yeah, it's boring.
It feels very weird. So like
it does feel weird.
I farmed for a plug one with Cornered. Like Cornered is awesome. Cornered feels great.
Yeah.
Not Reservoir Burst. But I don't know. Maybe it'll feel better after this.
Yeah.
Because they nerfed the damage too. That's the other thing they did.
Right.
It's gonna be Dragonfly on your fusion rifle now. Now we have 2 exotics who are getting tuning, and of course, everyone's favorite weapon, Dead Man's Tail.
Dead Man's Tail.
It's getting a bit of a nerf. So they've removed
Mercury's is gonna be
How
so
am I
sad.
gonna play Halo without playing Halo?
Oh,
you're
well,
right.
There's a new
Myelin.
Halo coming out. You could play.
In 6 months. So long.
Perfect.
They have removed hip fire damage fall off scalar was 1.8 times to match zoom. Naturally. That's what I asked for personally. I suggested that, I think.
No, this is actually interesting. I didn't realize that they gave the zoom like experience to hipfire. I didn't know that on that gun.
Yeah,
I basically never aimed.
So
yeah.
Never aimed. Just hip fire across the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to aim.
That significantly changes the weapon.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aim assist cone angle hip scalar reduced from 1.5 to 1.2.
There was two cones.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You were right.
Let's
Paul. My bad. My goodness.
So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna just be harder for you to hip fire people, right? Like
They're essentially just nerfing the gun.
It's just, essentially from these patch notes, DMT's getting nerfed, guys. By how much?
They said that a long time ago. Like they're like, okay, we're nerfing DMT, just wait for it.
Yeah, that's too bad. Can't have nice things, right?
It's supposed to be mostly for PC, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, it said here that it's really powerful on M and K and not as bad on controller.
I love it, and I love it on controller personally, but we'll see if this affects it.
And then they are also doing something to Sleeper Simulant. So fixed an issue where Sleeper Simulant was benefiting less than other linear fusion rifles from the Season of the Splicer linear fusion rifle precision damage buff. Okay. Total buff is now 16.5% compared to the 15% buff other linear fusion rifles received. Spicy. Fun. Good time. Yeah, a little spicy.
So it's going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best single target total damage in the game. I don't know if it'll be like meta after this, but certainly can't hurt.
Yeah.
Especially after the Anarchy nerf that's to come.
What?
Yeah. No.
Me boy.
So these are changes. So the changes we're getting in with this Sandbox update that we just went through, that was supposed to all come in season 15. So we still have more to come that are hitting in season 15. So what they have planned for season 15 is fusion rifles. They're going to be reworking a large rework of fusion rifles. So they're planning on changing the fusion rifle mods, custom tuning to most exotic fusion rifles, and yes, Vex Mythoclast is a fusion rifle.
Do you think they would consider getting rid of hit scan and going back to projectile based for fusions?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I wonder, because they're saying like a big rework.
It's a large rework.
Yeah, I wonder what that entails.
Yeah.
All I really wanted was a better buff for PvE, but I guess I'll take whatever.
They're like, okay, you just wanted.
I mean, not that they were super meta in PvP either, but
what if we completely change them?
Yeah, I'm very curious what completely reworking fusion rifles.
Yeah, and it doesn't just say a rework; it just says a large rework.
Yeah, that sounds like they're going to fundamentally change how this stuff is being applied throughout the sandbox. So I don't know. They might go back to a projectile system, which means that laggy matches, assuming you're using one in the Crucible, you'll feel even more again, potentially.
And also breach grenade launchers. With the above shotgun changes, we expect other special weapons to increase in usage and believe that grenade launchers have the potential to become more frustrating to play against as they become even slightly more common. So we're planning a small change
more frustrating?
that specifically touches priming and cleaning up targets.
Huh.
I hate them in PvP.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
Because you can just randomly shoot in a random area. And you can get a one-hit kill.
That's supposed to be a highly skilled move.
No, it's not.
Man, I remember using Mountaintop like maybe a month before the big shift.
All you used?
No.
Every time I turn on Tepti's stream,
no.
He's a warlock with a mountaintop.
Yeah, and a big shitty grin on his face.
No. It was definitely using Hunter. But I remember getting a couple cross-map snipes with it and being like, damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Frustrating. Frustrating to play against.
They are terrible. Hate them. Scout rifles and hand cannons in PvE. Players have wanted these weapons to be a bit more efficient in PvE for some time. We found that minor enemies and high-end content take too many shots to kill with these weapons. Doesn't say what they're doing. They're just like...
They just end it. They're like...
That's it. They take too long to shoot in the head.
In other words, they suck in PvE.
I assume just more precision damage against miners is
they got it right.
Will be, but I mean that's fine with me. Waiting for that for a long time.
Yep.
Next, we have machine guns in PvE. Through playtesting and player feedback, we found they're not doing their intended job well enough. So we're planning a noticeable change for Season 15. Cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It has been like 3 years in the making at this point.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wonder if that's going to affect Xenophage at all. I mean, they're probably going to tune that separately since it's like a different animal.
I know they will,
Yeah. Special ammo economy, particularly in PvP. While the above changes to shotguns should help tone down aggressive frames a bit, we've got a couple of small changes planned that should reduce the amount of special ammo floating around to a degree, and have further changes in mind in case they're needed.
I really wonder what they're going to do with this, because it's a significant problem, but they can't just like take away the ammo. Like maybe they personalize it.
I could see them like nerfing scab mods in PvP or something.
Yeah.
Even further.
Yeah.
They're not going to like go back and like put it on the wall or something. They said minor
that would be awful.
changes. So I don't know. That would be my guess. Or just lower ammo on pickup in general. I'm not sure.
But. Yeah.
Scav mods.
Snipers get so hurt by that kind of stuff because they're not necessarily like right there to pick up something that drops from an enemy you just killed.
Very true. Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah. And then we have Anarchy, which we touched on a bit earlier, has done too much too well for too many years without even counting the boost it's gotten this season, which is due to weak grenade launcher artifact mods. So we're making changes that make it great at a couple roles rather than making it the jack of all grenade launchers.
Couple roles. This sounds dangerous.
I swear, if they make it like can no longer stick to enemies, like must be placed.
Oh, think about how many bosses would just be like immune to it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
I
walk away.
I mean, it could just be a damage nerf. I don't know, but something bad's coming.
Yeah, the whole thing about rolls is like DPS roll. I mean, what else do you use it for? So how would you impact that? Yeah, and you think
it's gonna heal you now. That's the new role it's taking.
Oh.
You stand in the wire and it
stick
heals
it to your teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just sounds like it's gonna be.
It's been so overused forever.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
This is pretty obvious. It's like it's like Gallarhorn levels of use in terms of like DPS phases.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you do if it didn't stick to enemies? What, you shoot an enemy and it just bounces off? That'd be pretty.
Yeah, and then you have to like make the little pentagram on the floor, and then that's how they get hurt.
But what of them? What do they float? You know?
Yeah, like the Hydras, they just float on top.
Can't use it
because it's a specific
not good at
role.
Hydras.
It's good at two
rolls.
rolls.
Like a sword, you can't use it then. Sorry.
2 rolls. All the other rolls they're not good for. So
the roll is for ground-based enemies.
Rounded enemies who stand still.
What if they made it like so it was only an ad clearing thing? Like you stick to the floor and just clear ads. Whew, that would suck.
What I mean, yeah.
No one's gonna use it for that.
Yeah, that's
nobody's
RIP Anarchy.
I mean, sometimes if you're just trying to sweat lord on a strike mission, you just put them near doors and stuff.
Yeah, you put them in a doorway, I guess, but no one's gonna like use that as their exotic slot just for doorway.
It's all like
clear, literally. Everyone's saying they're gonna switch to Wither Horde if like Anarchy gets nerfed, so we'll see.
That sweet ornament's being sold this week for Dust.
Oh, I gotta get that.
I think so.
Is it?
I believe so. Yeah.
High one.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
And the last thing of like specifics that we get, there's a couple other things, but this is kind of the last thing from this list. Exotic primaries. We want to give players more reasons to use exotic primaries in high-end PvE content. So they're planning on doing some adjustments in season 15 to help with that. It also there's a note here that they're specifically looking at catalysts as a way to buff underused exotics. And this is why they made the catalyst for Trinity Ghoul and Deathbringer. So expect similar reasoning moving forward. And also a note here about exotics. At the risk of being vague, we also have long-term plans to address the issues of exotic orb generation and kill trackers without making a catalyst for every exotic in the game.
Cool.
Oh, thank God.
That's
I've been saying that forever. Just let us masterwork the things. Give catalysts later.
Cool. Yeah, just decouple it, right?
Like Taraba, its whole thing with Taraba is you get Ravenous Beast and you just freaking spray down everybody. You're not making any orbs. You could make like 1,000 orbs. When you get
like there's a lot, especially the primaries. I'll get very hurt by that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I said that on Twitter and people were like, they're gonna make like a limit of you can masterwork 1 exotic per season. And
Ada gives you.
So we've got this new vendor that takes things he wants. It's
801's sister, you know. Gives you a new weave format. Oh my God.
Please, no more currencies, please.
There's also just another patch preview, which is fixing a bunch of things. I think one of the most noticeable ones was how the platforms that you stand on in the expunge mission that you fall through is actually a bug. And you're supposed to be able to stand on them.
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. That one always gets me.
Yep.
I was like, you got me again.
I thought it was just a trick. I thought it was a trick. I assumed it was a trick.
Oh, Sabathun, you got me.
Sabathun, you silly girl. God, got me again.
Got me again.
They are also decreasing trace rifle damage in momentum control, because I know that was the hot thing to do. That was the thing that everyone wants to do. I think that's it, because a lot of these are just bug fixes and fixing issues and stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Big one.
That was a big one, yeah.
There's a big...
Yeah, it's a big twab. A lot of stuff is happening, changing, moving, shifting. It's going to be interesting to see how the sandbox evolves, especially in the PvE side of things. You know, with Anarchy being demoted.
I like that we're hearing more out of the Sandbox team now.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Things are moving faster over there, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm really sick of hearing about the PvP side so much. Like, they need to cool it down. Too much information, too many things, too many maps. Like, stop it. All right. What else?
Hey, you're going to be a boxing champion with the amount of shots you've taken to this podcast. We'll give you a championship belt, mate. Left hook, right hook, uppercut.
Hefty is looking for a fight.
I'm just trying to get canceled by Bungie. That's all. All right.
You don't want to get on DMG's radar.
You will respectfully destroy you.
This is the final communication.
You just see in chat, this is the final communication on this matter. You're like, no!
Lost to the void.
Can we talk about that? That was hilarious.
It was very good. That was kind of the epitome of community managing, where you somehow like completely own someone, but also do it in like the most professional way possible. Yeah. So like that's pinnacle CMing right there.
Yeah.
It's the thanks in advance at the end of the email. Do you know what I mean? It's the sign off on the email. You just flame somebody.
So real quick, for anybody who didn't see this on Twitter, a content creator was tweeting at Bungie that his account was banned. And he was mad about it.
Second time banned, actually.
Yeah. And the Bungie community manager kind of said, we looked into this, triple cheating's not allowed.
Triple checked.
Well, no, they said cheating. Yeah, we looked into it or something. It's, that's what they said. And then he said, I'd like some proof, because like this can't be the case.
The content creator said that.
Yeah, the content creator. And then 24 hours later, DMG came back and said they triple checked and said, you've been a naughty boy.
Proof. And we decided to ban more of your accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, what I took from that is like I didn't think he was cheating on his main, but he was cheating on ults. And like, so he thought that they could like prove that he wasn't cheating because maybe he hadn't cheated on his main, but they know how to check ults. So here we are. Like,
they know what your IP address is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your hardware address, your MAC address.
Yeah, your MAC address, hardware address, all that stuff. They see what every client is being logged into as with that hardware, so they know how to track that. Yeah.
It was like the whole Twitter community just started laughing together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Na 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 song started playing in the background of Twitter. I don't know. It was a pretty good own by DMG. It was pretty good.
So like, what? I've got zero sympathy, but what happens? Like, this is the second time. Do you think he will be able to just make another account? Do you think they'll be watching really specifically? If they see content from him, they'll boop him again.
Well, I think he would literally have to get a completely brand new hardware and PC, possibly even a new IP address for them to not trace it, and then not post content as that content creator. Because otherwise that's technically ban evasion once again, which warrants another ban for whatever account that is.
And part of this current ban was also
there's other people who are banned. Yeah.
Oh,
that
right.
Being said,
that's
there
what
are people who
invasion meant. Right. I didn't understand that. Right.
Evading.
There are other people who have been banned who are still making content.
Evading the ban.
Yeah. Like, like if you are banned, you're not allowed by the terms of service to create another account to keep playing. That's technically
stop running. Why are you running? Please don't ban me.
Trying to shade step out of the band.
Inches. Oh no.
Was this technically Myelin's first TEF lecture?
Was that a TEF lecture? Maybe chat can chime in, let us know.
Oh, that wasn't right one. Was that that wasn't a lecture, was it? Tell me more.
I didn't feel like it was. It didn't come from the heart, you know?
No.
Yeah.
You weren't at the point of no return yet.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had to take it upon myself to truly shed some light on a subject. You know what I mean? It was, yeah. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Should we do some questions?
So what I got from that was that is like meeting a Gorgon in the labyrinth, being wiped from existence, and
forever lost to the corridors.
Forever lost the time, forever, permanently.
You don't cheat in the main game you're a content creator for, because if you get caught, you can't create content for the game anymore. Like, it's not.
Then again, who was that FaZe kid that got did it in Fortnite for content, and he's come back bigger than ever?
Really?
He as a video, he's like
FaZe related controversies.
Yeah,
so.
true. I'm just outed myself. Damn it.
Tonight alone, they banned 4 FaZe creators for promoting a cryptocurrency scam. So
oh yeah,
that literally just happened today.
Oh, it's so bad.
Really?
The cryptocurrency thing is very bad.
Yeah.
Are NFTs shady?
I assume they were hoodwinked, or were they in on it? Like, did they accept a promotion and then not realize it was a scam, and they just promoted it?
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I think it was like they should have done that kind of deal in the first place, I think was the problem. So they're on suspension or whatever. But
or is it like one of those things where they said, we just got contacted to promote this thing, but in secret they actually built this thing from scratch and are now promoting their own thing?
I don't think it was that level.
What is this coin?
I think it was some random crypto that was like, yo, I'll pay you $80,000 to promo this, and then they're like, okay, and then they didn't understand what it was or look into it, and then they did, and then the whole thing was a scam, and then it's like, well, shit.
that was a big scam. That was like the T. Barton scam. Remember, he had created a gambling website, and
that was the most absurd one. Yeah.
You know, it's getting pretty crazy in general. Like, content creators are being sponsored to gamble on Twitch.
Oh mate!
Wow.
And then some people have actually gotten addicted to gambling after taking the sponsorship deal. And then
the amount of money they are making from the gambling deals.
Bungie really prefers that you don't call loot boxes gambling.
Yeah, come on now.
There are no loot boxes anymore. I can't gamble.
And they're terrible. So
and also it's called wishing. It's called wishing in Genshin Impact. Come on, it's not gambling.
Yeah, you're wishing.
Hey, we know the drop rates. It's not gambling if you know the drop rates.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Twitter questions. Ringo the Dingo says, hey, lore experts, everybody is talking about Savathun, but what happened to Xivu Arath? There were 3 Hive siblings, so even after the Witch Cream, there is another one left.
Yeah, Myelin.
Yeah, Myelin. What happened?
Jeez.
I'll be honest.
During
Season of the Hunt. Hey, don't pick on me. I'll start swinging. During Season of the Hunt. What? That was all about Xivu Arath. I sort of skipped over that a little bit. I'm not too sure. Where are we at? It's a good topic.
I mean,
can you write an article, Paul?
Jesus,
can you write an article, please?
Well, okay, the whole point of last season, right, was Xivu Arath invaded the Cabal homeworld, and that drove Keitel to come ally with us, and kind of Xivu Arath did the whole corruption of the Cabal at Season of the Hunt. Like, that was all her war stuff, making everyone green and fuzzy and whatever. And so, I mean, we assume that she and Savathun are still working together, and unless next season is a big showdown with Xivu Arath ahead of Savathun, I would kind of assume Xivu Arath will be a part of the Witch Queen as well. It would be a little
maybe she's part of the raid. She's a raid boss.
Have they been working together though? Like,
well, how much does Savathun work together with anyone? Like Savathun is using
like
Xivu Arath to do something or another. But
probably more.
Don't those sisters kill each other for fun? Like, killed you again, gotcha.
yeah.
Isn't that what we do?
Which is why Quria was gifted to Savathun in the first place. Savathun's like, oh, cool, thanks for the Vex. I bet you it tries to kill me. He's like, yeah, it does. Enjoy.
Wow.
And then a fun thing a reader pointed out to me was the seasonal artifact for Hunt was a tooth of Xivu Arath. And if you read the lore, it's like from Osiris and is like, my followers just had this lying around. It's like, here's the artifact.
He's being a little
why do you have the
Baka
tooth
again.
of Xivu Arath just hanging around? So I'm adding that to the list.
Oh God, he's been Savathun.
I'm literally adding what's happening with Xivu Arath. There you go. It's a list. I'll race you, Paul. Race you.
My article will just be summarizing your video. So
got it.
Lord Beerus says, what's your favorite piece of lore? Mine personally is all the Siva stuff.
Oh, overall?
I think it's got to be Idokel's big dumpies. Myelin taught me about that. It's true. He's the official lore master of Destiny, so I mean.
Choking Blade? No. Banshee. Banshee 44.
That was very cool.
That was cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
My favorite. My favorite's pretty new, pretty recent, because I just found out about it tonight, about Crota slicing a hole in the time-space continuum and letting in some Vex and Oryx being like, bitch, what'd you do? You know, so I think
Papa's playing with the sword.
Yeah. I think it's my favorite.
House for house party gone wrong.
Weekend at Oryx's.
The man offline says, besides the next season, and if there isn't a sudden plot twist next week, what do y'all think about the trilogy of seasons thus far, both story and content wise? I think this has been a strong year as far as seasons go.
Yeah.
Story wise, extremely strong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Content wise, pretty strong, except for Season of the Hunts, because that content was not good.
It was barely there.
Hunts themselves, except for the very last one, were very bad. But I loved Battlegrounds from last season. I thought that was a fantastic activity.
Battlegrounds was fun.
I think Override would be good if there was maybe less players and more enemies. It's just, I don't know, it's not quite
less
less
going into that one area to grab the thing and waiting for someone to climb the tower to activate the thing.
Well, that whole part I don't even count. I haven't run that in like weeks. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, generally I think this has been the strongest series of seasons I think to date that we've had, especially in a row.
Yeah.
I think the continuity of the story, like the seasons, I actually feel like they're progressing an overall arc, whereas before it sometimes felt like there's a side quest over here, which is this season in a bubble, and then we'll do like a main release and we'll add more questions we won't quite answer anything, whereas I feel like they've been answering questions whilst contributing to this overall lead up to the Witch Queen, which I think is really good. I think it's probably been, out of everything, the story's probably been the strongest over the last seasons.
Warden says, hi DCP and lore experts, great show and enjoy it weekly. There's a lot of talk about Marisov's return and lifting of the Dreaming City's curse. It was even referenced at the start of the Delphi mission. Can you speculate how that might play out beyond killing Savathun? I think we talked about this a little earlier.
Sort of did. Well, that's one thing we didn't mention is they really have hinted at Mara coming back too. Like last season, Mara had like a message that is like, I'm coming back. So you would assume that might happen next season. I would guess next season instead of Witch Queen personally, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, having her as a lead up would be good. Yeah, be really good.
See, that could be like a whole season of the Dreaming City has been revitalized. The curse is broken. Mara is back doing queen stuff.
Lounging in her queen chair.
Yeah. Maybe booty call from Shax every now and then, you know? Who knows?
Maybe.
Ryan says, in the TWAB, Chris mentioned turning down 120 hand cannons with a partial focus on letting other weapon types shine. With that in mind, should Bungie look into some of the forgotten archetypes, specifically 180 Scouts and 450 Pulse, feel like they have been neglected for a while? First of all, you're a coward for even suggesting that Scouts rifles should come back. But Pulses, that would be fun.
I mean, Bungie said they do not want a Scout meta. They like just specifically said that out. That was one of the things from the firing range thing. Pulses, I guess they assume that they'll be kind of buffed by proxy if the other stuff comes down, but we'll see.
I used a Scout
in a perfect
rifle.
world, you could go into the Crucible and pick, any weapon archetype you wanted based on your own preference and be able to be competitive with it. I think that it's very hard to do in this game, but I think it's what they're always shooting for, right?
I went to the Crucible and I used the Scout rifle. I actually did on the charity stream, and yeah, it's pretty rough at times. Can be pretty bad. And sixes, it has its moments because you can be just like Briar said, a coward and sit in the back, plink people.
It's the only way I've seen people using traditional Scout rifles, not DMT flying in the air.
I was like, Bungie, we don't want Scout rifle meta. Also, Bungie, DMT.
DMT's like its own thing completely.
You know what's funny is I don't even.
It's like calling Jotun a fusion rifle. Like,
yeah,
true.
I don't even think of DMT as a Scout rifle. I think it was just this cool gun that's completely like in its own league until it gets completely nerfed. Well, not completely, but it's getting nerfed.
Sorry, I was distracted by my cat. She's having a conniption.
Oh,
William
kitty.
James Corwin, do you think Witch Cream will add a new game mode pillar like Gambit, or would you rather them double down on current ones? Can you hear her meowing?
Yeah, we definitely heard her meow. She wanted to tell her opinion about Scout rifles.
She's like, Witch Cream. I love cream.
What was the question? I completely missed it.
I don't remember. Do you guys think that Witch Cream will add a new game mode pillar like Gambit, or would you rather them double down?
Ooh.
No, I don't think they can balance and add content to the ones they currently have. So I would be surprised.
I wouldn't think so.
Do you think Gambit is going to get a touch up potentially in the future? Like, let's say Witch Cream?
I think it needs to get cut.
Cut? Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Ass cut.
How many maps are available in Gambit right now?
3.
I don't
people play Gambit.
I play Gambit all the time.
Some work.
Your Gambit's here.
It definitely needs work, Paul. I agree.
I mean, they said they're going to make minor changes to it. So at least I think those are coming in season 15 to some extent. Like, I don't know, making the Primeval not die in 8 seconds, but like, I could see them bringing the old maps back, putting in Gambit Prime rules back with mods, like they said they're going to a million years ago. But no, I don't think we're going to have like some big giant Gambit resurgence with like a season of like 3 new Gambit maps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer game modes in Crucible. That's what I would prefer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Rift?
Yes.
Objective stuff. I don't care.
It did
what
sort
it
of
is.
hint at Rift.
Dude, I would love Rift to come back.
I would love it.
Yeah.
What's the Halo one when you have a hammer and you run around?
Yeah, Griff
ball.
Yeah.
Griff, give us that.
I'm still waiting for the stupid hammer exotic, so we'll see.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
I know they know how to make hammers, so get on that.
Kelly Locke says, if Anarchy is significantly nerfed, which power weapons will replace it within your loadouts?
I haven't really been using Anarchy.
With a Horde.
With Horde, yeah.
Because I actually only got Anarchy sort of recently, and I was doing I had never done solo flawless attempts, and I used Wither Horde for all of the solo flawless dungeons as my exotic.
Well,
and then I was like, I really should get Anarchy. So
they said power weapons, not exotic slot.
Oh,
so it's like,
right.
I mean, I guess it could be Sleeper. I don't even know how good Deathbringer is.
What's the rocket launcher? What's the one where they shoots the purple balls?
That's Deathbringer. So that got a catalyst.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know. Deathbringer is pretty good after the catalyst now. It's just weird to fire. I don't like it.
Yeah, it is odd.
The wait around for the things to blow up. I don't know.
I think it was at that moment I realized depth perception was not my strength.
Yeah.
When to let go.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I was nowhere near that. Good, great. I blew up nothing.
There's definitely some good rocket launchers, like even just legendary rocket launchers that I could see stepping up. Like a Time Lost Hezen with big ones, Masterworks. Like I don't know. That sounds good. But
I mean, Xenophage is still good.
Yeah, Xenophage is still good.
Yeah.
And I'm still using my Code Duello with
Code Duello is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, with timed lasting impression. That's what it's called.
You can get really good royal entries. It's just hard to get the rolls you want because it's so random. But
Catnip hashtag Black Lives Matter says, do you think by this point Bungie could have made a different map for the EAZ? It's been the same one for several years now. Couldn't they have made 3 or 4 different maps to just have them rotate per run, randomize them even?
Can they make more Crucible maps would be my first question. Second question, how long since there was a Crucible map? And then I would think, maybe it's not possible they make like 3 EAZ maps. Seeing as they are bigger. Bigger than Crucible maps.
Yeah, it only shows up for like 1 month of the year.
Instead of a new map, I was hoping that they would do like new things with that map. Like it seems like you can have different objectives within that map other than the exact same thing that we do every year, but they haven't done that either. So
yeah, that's what I would go more so with, is use the same map but do something different within the same map rather than having multiple different maps.
Yeah, I think if it was easy for them to add variations or completely different maps, they totally would, because they understand that like that would be value added to the game. But I don't think it's easy. I think it's quite a bit of task to add a whole new map.
Yeah, I mean, things that take more effort than you imagine. New maps, new armor sets, like new weapons not based on existing models. Like that takes a lot. So.
Yeah.
Spez says, what Souls/Born game do you recommend, as I have just completed my very first one of the genre and absolutely loved it? Demon Souls is the one I beat.
Oh, nice. Well, there's Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Yeah,
even I can be Bloodborne, and it was fun.
The rumors are heating up, though, that there's going to be a remake of Bloodborne. I might hold off on that.
Remake?
Okay.
Maybe a PC port.
No, there's a lot of rumors.
Not a remake, but an update.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about that.
Yeah, FPS update for the PS5.
Oh yeah, there probably will be.
What I would do is probably go Sekiro next, because Sekiro is its own instance and it's, Soulsborne-ish. It's not quite the same formula, but it has elements in there, and you don't run into the problem of suddenly having a brand new remaster for Bloodborne 6 months to a year down the road. And then,
Sekiro is so different, though, I feel.
It is. It's definitely different.
It is very different. It kind of forces you into parrying and playing the way the game wants you to play. Over Dark Souls, and Demon Souls, you can kind of choose whichever one you want to do. So if you loved parrying in Demon Souls, you'd probably dig Sekiro.
I feel like Bloodborne's the same, though. Bloodborne, you got to parry all over the place.
It's definitely different to like Dark Souls, right? The only other one I could recommend is Dark Souls 3, because it's 60 FPS. It still runs and looks really, really good, and it's a similar formula to like modern Souls games. Whereas in the early ones, it's like
pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, they remastered Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, like the frame rate is good, but it still looks like an old game. So I'm just thinking that if you're going from Demon Souls to Dark Souls 1, you might not enjoy that experience as much as going to one of the newer games.
Well, Demon Souls is technically an old game, just looks new.
But it plays very differently.
Does it play very different from the original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like Demon Souls was a lot of the difficulty of Demon Souls was how janky the controls were, because you could only roll in like very specific directions. So you were fighting the game a lot of the time rather than like the actual difficulty of the content.
Dua Shade says, "Dear okay, this is multiple questions, really quick. So speed round here. I don't know how to say these two words: takoyaki or gyoza. Gyoza.
I only know
Takoyaki.
So pick that one.
Is that the octopus?
Takoyaki is the octopus, yeah.
And gyoza is a little like dumplings, basically, right? Or the
gyoza's the little like long.
Yeah,
like a boat shaped.
Yeah, it's like that you put stuff inside of.
I'm going octopus. Jacket weather or shorts weather?
Jacket weather.
Because after being in 106 degrees with my AC being broken, never again. Don't want it. Take it away.
I tell you right now, I'm holding my tongue as all the Americans, oh my God, it's so hot. And how much crap I get given when it's like cold. Like, oh, Matt, that's not even cold. And everyone's like, oh, 30 degrees. So I was like, mate, welcome to Australia.
You know what, Myelin? Everyone wants to be a special little snowflake who's oppressed by really hot or cold weather. And they can't stand that other places are not created the same way as the place you live.
Yeah, I know. I was
like our roads have been cracking. Our roads are dying. They're cracking.
Yeah.
You don't go anywhere anyway.
I felt
how do you even know?
We've got dirt tracks. We ride the kangaroo down to the shops.
Myelin, I was the same. I was like, Sacramento, it's like 110 degrees in the summer is normal, man.
Youth or wisdom? Youth is more fun.
Youth, because then I could get smart. If I have wisdom, I don't think I could be wise enough to get young.
What if it's one or the other, though? You can never, like, you're always youthful or you always have wisdom.
Is bliss, so...
Youth.
I'm going to go with wisdom.
Eggs Benedict or an omelet?
If you got youth, I don't know, you'd be like poor. Wisdom, it depends what your life ends up being like. I'm beautiful and poor. Great.
I hate to tell you this. I know a lot of old people are poor too.
Yeah.
But are they wise?
Yeah. Don't know.
Eggs Benedict or omelets?
Omelet.
Oh, no, I'll go Benny. Eggs Benny, man.
Yeah, I'm going to Benny too. I mean, you gotta eat it responsibly. You can't have it every morning like you can an omelet. But it's good.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, more of a treat.
Riding shotgun or chill in the back? Shotgun.
Shotgun.
I mean, if I'm taking an Uber, I'm chilling in the back.
Oh, well,
I'm not taking an Uber. In 2021? Come on.
My private chauffeur.
Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Vegan cheese or gluten-free bread?
Gluten-free bread.
Neither.
What's the first one?
Vegan cheese.
I've had.
Vegan, I think it's vegan cheese. I'm like, okay.
Vegan cheese has gotten very good, but there are very bad ones. So
I think that's probably
hit and miss.
bullshit.
What is vegan cheese made out of?
Tofu.
I don't know.
A bunch of different things.
Cashew mash. Yeah.
Like
there's
various
some
oils.
really good ones. But I have to do some research.
Yeah.
Word for
Didn't they grow meat in a lab recently?
Yeah. You can buy like meat grown labs. You can eat meat grown labs. Yes.
I prefer Dobermans, but whatever.
So I've had both of these. I've had a lot of various vegan cheeses, and I've obviously had a lot of gluten-free bread. And both of them can be bad or good. In 2021,
like
though, in 2021, there's a lot of good options, though, when you finally do some research and see what's out there.
Yeah.
Bottle rockets or Roman candles? How can I choose between my babies? That's like Sophie's choice.
You have to explain what's the difference.
Bottle rocket is like a little rocket on a stick. You light it and it goes, and then pop. Right. A Roman candle is like a tube filled with fireballs, and you light it. It goes whoop, 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 like fireballs shoot out of it.
Can you shoot them at friends without them getting seriously injured?
Seriously?
No guarantees.
I mean, don't aim for the face.
Yeah.
Okay.
They might lose that hearing.
One. Also, you can't really aim it.
I can't aim it.
Roman candles sound pretty fun.
Wasn't there a video?
Multiple explosions.
Pretty sure there was a video on the internet of a guy chasing someone on a motorcycle with a Roman candle held out. You remember?
I feel like all the most
I think I've
popular
seen
YouTube videos of like 15 years ago were all like
Yeah,
That's
just
true.
super,
fireworks
The good
related
old days,
mishaps.
that's all.
super illegal things. Yeah.
If YouTube's even that old, but yeah.
Blandy
how do you
McBlanderson
stop
says
fires? How do you stop fires?
How do you
Or does that
stop
just happen
fires?
during
From
lights?
4th of July?
in California,
We
you
have
don't.
lots of fires
Yeah.
here.
The officials are saying, please don't.
It's just, please, please,
Just-
don't.
Please.
I mean,
don't.
usually
Put
like they
fireworks
disintegrate
away.
before they hit the ground. Like most
But it's
of
been
the
very
time.
hot.
Yeah, it's a tinderbox out there. So one little firecracker's getting ready.
It's raining all weekend here, so we're good to go.
I wish I had
Rain.
rain.
Candle equals Skyburner's oath. Yes, that's accurate, Colin.
Blandy McBlander says, which of the following true statements seems the least truthy? 1, trees are made out of solidified air. 2, a day on the moon and a year on the moon are about the same amount of time. Or 3, when you diet, most of the weight you lose comes out in your breath.
Say thing. Which one's true?
The whole thing hurt my head. Okay.
Which of the following true statements seems the least truthy?
The last
Which
one.
one? Which one's a lie? Is that what you mean?
The weight breath thing.
Yeah, that doesn't even make physical sense.
Say that one more time. The last one.
When
don't
you
understand
diet,
the
most
moon
of the
one
weight
either, though.
you lose comes out in your breath.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
And the moon is a day on the moon and a year on a moon is the same amount of time.
Right? Isn't the
Don't
moon?
we always see the same side of the moon? Like the moon doesn't rotate, right?
It's
Well,
well, no,
what
I
if
think it
I'm
rotates, but I
on
think it
moon?
rotates in
Oh,
relation
that's
to
true.
the Earth. I think.
Okay.
That doesn't count. Okay. I don't
Because we always see the same size of the same side of the moon. Like when it goes dark,
Yeah.
it's technically
Yeah.
the same side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, are we going to get an answer to this, or is this for us to ponder for the rest of life?
This is
I don't
just
understand
for
that
you.
point.
Oh, we don't get an answer?
No.
Oh god, it's like those true crime documentaries where it's an unsolved case and you're like, well,
You
god
can-
damn it.
It's
I'm
definitely
angry.
You can ask Blandy.
Blandy. Please.
We
Help
need
me
a
out.
follow up, Landy. Come on, you can't leave us
Broken
hanging.
us.
Wait, are they all true? And we're
No, no,
picking
no. The
which
breath
ones
thing, the
sound
breath,
all true.
untrue?
the breath thing does not add
breath
up.
thing because your like body oxidizes.
question again.
Is that what it means? Because your cells are
says they're all
breathing
true.
and disintegrating.
Okay, Blandy said they're all true. Which one sounds
Yeah.
the least true?
I think that's what they
Right.
mean by the breath thing. Where
They
like
all sound less true.
you evaporate and disintegrate eventually.
They all sound like you're a liar.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
all right. So if you take into
You're highly
consideration,
suspect.
if you take into consideration decay over time, then yeah, I could see the body one how it adds up. But I'm thinking of like, you pass and all of a sudden you lose a bunch of weight.
Well,
like your
trees are
lungs.
made out of solidified air. That
Yeah.
doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
Well, there's air in between.
Because they
wood.
convert
Yeah, but they
things to
pull
they convert
nutrients
air
out of the
to
ground.
Yeah, air.
They're made out of carbon, not air, not
Well,
They're
not
made out of
oxygen and
see, trees breathe air and
Nitrogen.
convert.
Trees breathe.
No, they convert. What is it? The carbon dioxide.
Myelin, you have a PhD. Please.
They convert the carbon. The trees are
Yes, we have
considered
trees.
the Earth's
Lord
lungs. They're
Daddy.
very important. That's why the Amazon is very important. We're
The
having
Lord
problems
of
with
the
the Amazon
trees.
being deforested.
no, that's right. Trees breathe carbon dioxide.
Yeah, this is
Emphasis
smoke
on the
too much pot for
carbon,
this.
well,
which they are made of.
but that's technically part of the air. Like air and atmosphere is
That
a
is
lot of
very-
different
yeah,
compositions.
so that's why that counts.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's like 70% nitrogen, 72% nitrogen, like 20-something% oxygen. The rest of it is like trace amounts. So there's some CO2 in there, but mostly it's nitrogen
That's
and
the tree seed.
like no, they're made out of carbon.
Carbon dioxide.
yeah, CO2, carbon-based life forms,
Carbon
carbon
in that.
dioxide.
Carbon-based life form.
Okay, regardless, we need them to then tell us then why these are all true.
Why they're true?
Did you not
We
just
need
hear
to-
all of
we're
our
gonna
explanations?
Google it.
Seriously, we need a follow-up, lady.
We
Guys.
need a doctor.
Guys, is marijuana legal right now in all these
I
states?
hated this question at first, but now I kind of like it. So
Muttbeard says, I had my second COVID vaccine yesterday. I'm feeling pretty rough. What are your go-tos when you're feeling unwell?
Ooh.
I like to bitch about it a lot to my wife, like a lot.
I've just had a 2-week cold. I've been like flu-y for the last 2 weeks. And I don't think this helps recovery, but it makes you better. Or it makes you feel, well, no, it doesn't make you feel better, but it's nice to have hot toddy, bit of whiskey, hot water, lemon juice in a big mug.
What's a hot toddy?
Delicious. Like like that. Yeah, whiskey, like boil some water, whiskey, honey, lemon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, you get pretty smashed and you
have one of those anyways.
You got vitamin C and alcohol.
Yeah.
So basically being intoxicated to where you go to sleep and you can't feel your misery.
Yep. More whiskey than honey.
B-Dog says, as someone who's having some issues with coworkers not upholding what is expected of them, causing me to take on more work, what are some tips that y'all have to help deal with something like that? I feel like since running DCP is a strong team deal, y'all have some good tips.
Well, that's what happens.
You know what I did?
What happens when no one responds in a group chat about something important?
We don't do anything above absolute minimum. Nope, I'm not doing it. It's you give up is what you do. You throw in a towel. You walk away. I can't even get people to use a calendar.
Should I out you for what you said to me when I said I'm going to do some research about Quria Blade Transform?
But it has to be that way.
What's like, that's the most work anyone's done. That's the most
It is the most work anyone's
You did prep work to be on DCP. Amazing.
Why do you think Fran doesn't show up for us anymore? We have defeated him.
Yeah.
We broke him.
We used up all the good tidings.
He needs to be organized, scheduled, no specifics, need a script or something. And we're just like, Fran, chill, bro.
Script. Okay.
We broke producer Fran.
Oh, we did. Real quick.
He's Sea of Thievesing without us.
Yeah.
Embrace the chaos, I think, is the answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just yell at people until they
you should
come to your
back on Fireteam chat. Travis had these like amazing runs of shows that were like so detailed. It was like pages and pages of runs of show, like exactly what we were gonna do. And then we're here and
it's let it fly.
Full systems work in their own ways.
And that's where Fran came from. So
yeah.
Yeah,
they look a little different over there.
Yeah.
A little different, slightly, only a little
bit. they ran a tight ship because they only had a half-hour show.
True.
See, I mean, like
we tell people
and they're like studio time and like you got to be out on time and like it's a whole thing.
We tell people 2 hours, but we routinely keep our guests for way longer.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it very much.
Buckle up.
Yeah, they love that. Zachary Richardson says, you've been kidnapped. They put you in front of a chair with a TV in front of you. They ask, what would you rather watch? Jar Jar Binks replacing Bruce Willis's character, John McClane, in Die Hard, or Jar Jar Binks replacing Johnny Depp's character as Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Whoa.
Okay.
I'd say John McClane.
Yeah, Die Hard.
That
definitely.
one would be Die Hard would be hilarious. I think Jar Jar would just be good in Pirates of the
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, too similar.
You hardly know the difference in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yippee-ki-yay.
But in Die Hard, it would be amazing.
Die Hard would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Garrus the Undying says, if you had to choose between Twitter questions, a Myelin lore video, or a Forbes article, which would you choose while eating briar? Listen, you son of a bitch. You owe $1 to the eating briar jar. And I expect to hear next week that you have paid it to St. Jude, Garrus the Undying. Sam says, would you rather have horrific BO or be the guy at the urinal who pulls his pants down, his underwear all the way down?
All the way down to your ankles?
Yeah. I gotta go with the urinal guy.
Yeah.
BO is gonna get in the way all the time. But
what was the first option? You always have bad BO, or you gotta be You have to choose pants urinal. Oh god,
You don't want
funny.
the BO. That
Drop
will
your
follow
pants.
everywhere.
Drop your pants all the way and pull your shirt up.
Oh, that's got me. Because everyone's been there. You go, what are you doing? Like it's in your ass. What are you doing, mate? You don't need to do that.
Especially when it's like a real public place, like you go to a ball game. Like
You put it in the trough. You peed in the trough.
Oh no. Where there's like 20 people lined up behind you waiting for
Pants all the way down. Shirt up.
You're like, I'm sorry. I can't go with the BO. Had to be this way.
You're basically standing naked. Oh, should
So
laugh
Myelin
at
will be that guy.
Oh.
Mylin's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take that.
Yeah, definitely. Dayman says, I was shopping for Crocs for my wife recently. Good job. And noticed that they sell Croc nuts. So my question is, what is a random thing that you would put nuts on?
Huh?
You know what Crocs
Another
are,
American
Myelin?
thing.
Yeah,
They put nuts on.
You know, like truck nuts.
So
Yeah.
you see truck nuts?
Oh.
It's like an ornament.
They put
for
nuts on the back of Crocs.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
What would you put truck nuts on? Is that the question?
Yes.
My microphone.
Nuts
What
for any
random-
occasion.
Oh, my controller.
Microphone.
Ooh, yeah, controller. Yeah, you imagine just.
Yeah,
Hang them off my camera here.
Yep.
that's good.
I'll put them on my dog. He could use a pair.
Oh, buddy.
I didn't realize that was your dog. I thought you had an umbrella for a second.
No, bro.
I did. I know. My brain was weird.
Are you Hefty? Are you sure you haven't been the one that's waiting to light up at a certain specialty store?
I am in California.
Tassi walks outside holding the dog above his head when it's raining.
He's not allowed to smoke pot. He's a cop.
He also transforms into a dinosaur when he's high. So
Yeah, I do.
he's been
Yeah.
not allowed
It's a
to touch it
condition.
anymore.
That's right. We had that conversation last time I was here, I think.
Was
The
it?
time
Last
before.
wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hugoron says, would you prefer to have teeth made out of beef or knees made out of cheese?
Okay, cheese.
Made out of beef?
Cheese you could make pretty hard, and it might be able to function somewhat normally. Or I remove my legs, and then you wheel me around. But beef teeth, what am I doing with that?
Beef teeth. How you gonna gum things?
Imagine sleeping and your teeth just flop back into your
How
mouth.
fast does the beef
Before you
grow?
stop.
Like, does it constantly grow? Like, you can just feed yourself from your
Oh,
beef
do you think you got
all
like
the time?
you got like jerky teeth or something?
That's awful. You go to kiss your partner and your beef
Ugh.
teeth just flop.
Oh, God.
But if you had cheese knees, you would literally get attacked by dogs every time you went anywhere.
Yeah.
It would be a
Or
pack
you'll
of-
have puppy friends.
A licking situation's
True.
going on there. I don't know. Both of them sound really awful.
Yeah.
You're right, though. You
Can't
could roll
wheel
around
my
in a
teeth
wheelchair.
He's like, I heard you're talking
Yeah.
about beef and cheese, so I am interested.
I am here.
I've arrived for my beef teeth.
Two more left, so we'll do them real quick. HugoRune79 says, I found out today that one of the United States' largest stockpiles of nuclear weapons is guarded by trained military dolphins. What are the chances that after growing bitter and resentful of his Hollywood experience, Flipper will lead a vengeful apocalypse? I think Flipper's dead. How long does a dolphin live? Myelin, you know about dolphins. You're a doctor.
You have a PhD.
Yeah. What's the
Let's do
lifespan
all the questions.
for a marine mammal situation?
Let me consult my massive brain where I'm going to store the entire knowledge of the universe. Yes, they are mammals, so they probably live for, I don't know.
I'm guessing 30 years.
I'm sure Flipper's dead. What year was Flipper? Flipper's got to be dead.
Like the
50s or 60s,
wasn't
right?
it? The 50s
Oh,
or 60s.
older than that.
I mean, there's probably been more than one Flipper, let's be honest.
Yeah, true.
And it'll be in captivity. So, wait, it was in captivity?
I'm looking it up right now.
It's probably super sad because it was most likely abused in order to be an entertainment.
Guys, check it out. First off, a killer whale can live up to 45 years. A striped dolphin is about 55 to 60 years. That's pretty old. And a pantropical spotted dolphin, 40 years. Short-finned pilot whale, 45 years. We need to know what type of dolphin Flipper is first. So until we know, we can't answer the question. Sorry.
A bottlenose dolphin.
Bottlenose.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Crap.
Hey, dummy. You don't know what kind of dolphin?
Get a PhD, Tefty.
Jesus.
Dum-dum.
Bottlenose dolphin. It's not telling me.
Apparently, it's an Atlantic bottlenose dolphin.
I feel like that would have popped up. Google, you have failed me. Anyways.
Well, now we don't know.
We don't know. That's
Flipper was a good dolphin anyway. He wouldn't attack us. He was about saving people.
Maybe Flipper was on drugs. Once the drugs wear off, he became homicidal.
He was in Florida, so I mean, all shit.
Florida dolphin. Florida dolphin commits nuclear warfare. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah, that does sound right.
And last question of the night, VHRP says, this one's for Teft. Will you ever shave your beard? How long have you had it for?
You know what? I started growing the beard in 2014, 2015. And would I shave it? Maybe. Yeah, it's possible. You know, it's on the table.
I'm not allowed to shave. I don't even own my beard anymore. It's now property of my wife.
It got copywritten? Yeah, you have to consult the authorities.
I thought I was going to get away with the mohawk, but that thing got...
I thought you were too. It looked really good.
My wife was not... There was a vengeance in her eyes that made me say, I need to shave this off immediately.
But what did she not like about it?
I think the stripe going up the middle of my head.
That
part. Yeah.
That's it. We have solved all of Destiny's questions once again. You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm really glad people walked away with some dolphin knowledge. That was really important.
You can tell Teft is trying to look. He's so intent. He's still madly Googling bottlenose dolphin. I must find
here's the thing. My complacency with technology is to the point where if I don't get the question immediately offered to me from Google on the first page, my desire to research further is like cut easily, like 90% of it goes out the window. I still have to have like 10%, like that much effort wanting to go in, you know? Oh, well, at least on the podcast.
Podcast, I'm not interested in learning anything. Real life, I'll dig a bit deeper.
Yeah.
I mean, I got several questions about what trees are made of and
we did have some good discussions about that. Yeah. Yeah. Some
people do think, you know what? These questions tell me that people think we are quite knowledgeable.
Yeah. Of certain things.
So, there's a fool born every minute.
Press the follow button, kids.
Yes. Well, I'm very happy we learned all kinds of stuff about Quria. That was awesome. Thank you very much, Myelin.
Yeah.
And
it has a very nice, shiny body.
Yeah, nice, shiny body from Quria. Yeah. Myelin, where can people find you on the internet?
Myelin.
Myelin Games, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. See you there.
Boom. Paul?
I'm at Tassi on Twitter. You can Google me for my articles, and I am on YouTube now too.
Awesome.
Are you becoming for me lore, Paul? Oh, come here.
Yes, if you want lore that is mostly wrong and much does not have a cool accent, then you can come to me. But
will there be any dolphin facts?
Dark alley and me and Bife will be there and be like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing, bud?"
Do you think we could put together celebrity lore master boxing matches?
I've been saying to Bife, we can make money from this. We can make buy a Laurel boxing match. Let's go.
Or what about what was that game show like Tic Tac Toe or Hollywood Squares, but for lore masters?
You might have to explain what that is to Myelin because
Hollywood
you said
Squares.
Hollywood.
You don't remember Hollywood Squares?
No.
Never mind.
Just Google it.
Oh man, Watts, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts.
Awesome. Briar?
You can find me in a book because I'm too old to be on the internet.
Bam. You can find...
Fair.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. And I recently did a Xbox PS5 8 months later video on my YouTube channel. You know how I always upload to YouTube every like 4 months. It's super regular. Intense schedule that I have. So anyways, that went up.
Really taking advantage of the algorithm.
Yeah.
Maximizing those stats.
You can go check out that video. And that's the show. Thank you very much for watching episode number 246 of DCP Live, where we cracked everything that you'd ever want to know about the Destiny universe. Appreciate you all hanging out and listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Yeah.
Say goodbye, Finn. Bye.